What's up guys, AJ's Builds back here, and like I said, I'm going to have some videos on this S54 ITB conversion on the E36 M3. I already took off the intake, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing from there. And today my Rabid Racing development adapter kit came in. So I'm wicked pumped about that. I'm going to show you guys what that consists of, what it looks like, and then we'll get to some... Alright, so first off, we got the throttle linkages. We have the extensions for the injectors here, the gaskets. These are the bolts. I purchased this, and this came in the mail today as well. This is my TPS sensor. I had to run a E46 M3 TPS sensor. Alright, looks like we got some of the throttle linkages here. These pieces are absolutely beautiful. Rabid Racing Development did an incredible job with these pieces, and they just look amazing. Decal. Here's another part for that bracket. Again, look at this work. The machine work is amazing. I absolutely love it. Just looking at this kit makes me happy. Here's some bolts that mount the ITBs to the adapter plate. And here is the beautiful adapter plate. Oh my gosh. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, so as you can see, I got the intake off. There's a lot of vacuum hoses and things. I'm not really going to give a tutorial on how to take the intake off, so there's plenty of research out there online to figure it out, plenty of information, plenty of forums. It's not that bad, it's pretty simple. But now what we're going to be doing is taking out the studs, because the new kit comes with Allen key bolts. So the adapter plate is actually bolted in, and these would be too long and hit the ITBs. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to double nut, and the thread on this is a 7mm by 100. So you're going to go to a hardware store, get two 7mm by 100 nuts, and we're going to tighten them together and then back the bottom one out, and that should pull the threads out. So let's get to that. I'll probably put it on a time lapse. Doing the adapter plate now. So it comes with the supplied O-rings. I'm going to use these O-rings and seat them into the adapter plate. They did a really good job with these. So they actually don't need any like sealant or anything to hold them in place. They're a super nice and tight fitment. Now I'll bring it closer to the camera to show you in a minute. So today we're going to work on putting this plate on, as well as trying to put the ITBs on, and then we'll see how far we get. I'm still waiting on some fuel related pieces to rebuild my injectors. I'm going to be putting new micro screens in, so those should be in soon. Well, I'm going to bring the camera over here, or bring this closer to the camera, I should say. So you can see they sit in there nice. I mean, they don't fall out. There's a nice fitment to them. So you're going to put the two supplied Allen bolts on the block first, and then you could just slide it in, and then there's a sight window to bolt it down, and there is 7 of those. But you can put the first 2 in on the block. So I'm gonna move the camera over there to the motor, and we'll put this thing on. And we're gonna catch the first 2 up in the center. We got 1, and the second one here. And we'll have to suck those down to start the kit. And of course, the tape is now off the block, so you want to be really careful not to drop anything down there. Get these started. Gotta see how far down I gotta go. And these Allens are supplied with the kit. Alright. So now it should slide in. I just want to make sure everything is seated again. Everything looks like it's seated in there very well. Push it all down. You don't want any intake leaks, so you know, it's okay to double check just to make sure that they're all seated in the pocket, which they look like they are. So now this is going to go down here. I'm just going to double check one more time. Come down, slide up, just like that. Just going to zoom in here really quick to show you guys how nice that is. It fits absolutely perfect, and all the ports are perfectly lined up. So now we're going to put the ITBs on. Should have no problems with these. They just seat wicked good, and they literally tuck right in there. They don't fall off, they don't pop out, nothing. Absolutely perfect. And there's little pins for the ITBs, and they fit right in the pins on this, so you shouldn't have any issues lining it up. Just takes a little bit maneuvering around to get them to click right in. And then they supply the hardware as well to bolt them up. And we're only going to catch a couple bolts because then we have to catch the throttle linkage, which actually bolts up to the back ITBs. I believe it's this one and this one, but I will know as we get closer to that. So these are all in there. Alright, so before we put these ITBs on, you want to pop off the air rail, which takes a little bit of pressure. It just gives you room when you're putting the injectors in. So now what we have to do is, there's a new throttle linkage that I showed you guys earlier. And the way this works is this bolts into over here. So this nipple actually has to be drilled out. So that has to come out because this is going to slide through and nut and bolt together. So I got to work on that now. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you guys is that the throttle linkage is installed. You have to take it apart and dismantle it completely to run it through the firewall. I'm going to put my flashlight on here so you can see the back of the firewall, okay? Where are we going here? Here we go. Alright, so the throttle linkage runs through the firewall, and then it is held in place with a washer on either side so it doesn't poke through the firewall. And then you're going to use the supplied nut. And then you run it through. Again, this is all dismantled, and then you have to put each piece on one at a time. So then I put this piece on here, which is also the adjustment for the tightness of the cable. And this bracket bolts to the back of the ITBs, the last one. Then in the front, you have to cut the cable to length, and there's an Allen key that holds that cable into the last part of the throttle linkage, which bolts up to this lever here. So this lever, see if I can turn my flashlight off, is driven by the throttle, of course. And it works really good. I'm gonna go in the car and try to show you guys the pedal. Not gonna be that easy to see. Alright, so you can see that top hole is the one that I used because it fits the diameter of the pin a little better. The bottom one was way too loose, but the bottom one is where the original throttle cable was, and you can see in the back there, it's ran right through the firewall in the original location. Pretty easy, but you're gonna have to pull the whole cable apart to run that. Out here. Alright, let's show some other stuff I got done here. So for the S54 ITB conversion, you use the original E36M3 harness, and you buy the S54 TPS sensor. I have that sensor, I just didn't put it on yet. But what you're going to do with the wiring is, it is labeled here, 1 through 3. You're going to swap wire 1 and 3. So 3 is going to go to 1, 1 is going to go to 3. And you have to reverse that signal on this wire for the TPS sensor to read correctly on the ITBs. So, alright, so that's about it for up top here. And I'm going to show you guys the S54 fuel setup underneath the car. So I'm going to get the car jacked up, slide under there, and I'll show you that. So after you run the filter, you're going to have to run the S54 fuel pressure regulator housing because of the returnless system. So let me show you guys that. See if I get them over here, get some better quality. So the S54 fuel pressure regulator housing threads into the fuel filter for the S54. Then this top mount fitting, this top fitting is where you're going to put the E36M3 return line, which runs on the outer part of the filter. This line went to the injector rail of the E36M3, but because it's a returnless system, the S54 puts any unused fuel back through the line down here versus off of the fuel rail. Your fuel pressure regulator is here, and what you're going to do is remove the 5-bar S54 fuel pressure regulator, and you have to use the E36M3 fuel pressure regulator because you're going to want to run a 3.5 bar. Alright, so on the E36M3, the fuel pressure regulator is actually held in at the fuel rail. So there is a big snap ring that holds that in. So you're going to remove that snap ring, pop out the E36M3 3.5 bar regulator, and that's going to get seated in the S54 fuel pressure regulator housing. So you're going to have to get the S54 fuel pressure regulator housing, or if you want and you're running a standalone ECU, you probably are going to want to run that E36M3 line up to a fuel pressure regulator and adjust everything from there. But I'm using the stock computer, and Castle Performance in Pennsylvania is going to be tuning it, and I'm just following the steps that they're telling me, and they've done this before. So on the Iac valve, I'm still waiting on my tubing. You can use the E36 M3 IAC valve solenoid, but you're going to have to run the S54 hoses for this. So one hose is going to come up, it's going to cross over, come up and sit right into the air rail. It connects to this part. Let me show you here. So once the fuel rail is on, that top hose is going to connect to here. So it's going to come off, come over, and drop down. Then the second hose is going to run from the bottom over to the bottom of the intake right here. And it's a special quick connect fitting, which should come on the hose if you purchase the hose. It looks just like this. So it's going to sit on there and click in, just as well as the top part will look just like this, and click in here. Alright, so like I said, that was just a quick update of what I have going on right now. I'm waiting on a lot of parts, so I'm kind of at a standstill, but they should be all coming in by the end of this week, and I should have another video up, and hopefully first fire up on this thing. So stay tuned, please like, share, and subscribe. This is AJ's Builds. I'll see you next time.